Welcome to Simple Robotics, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique, and you can find me on all social media platforms at Simple Robotics, SIMPLYROBOTIX. And remember, when listening to the show, use the hashtag Simple Robotics Pod to join in on the conversation. Now, listeners, I'm sorry. I just want to let you know that if you cannot tell by my background or by my shirt what this episode could possibly be about or the title of the episode, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'll tell you, but before I tell you, I need to say that this episode is being sponsored by Autodesk. Okay, so this episode, okay, listeners, let me tell you, my background right now for this video is a scene from Into the Spiderverse. My shirt is a Spider-Man shirt. This episode is going to be an interview as well as just talking, getting to know a bit more about an animator that worked on Into the Spider-Verse. So I won't hold you anymore. We'll get right to it right now. So, yes. So, like I said, I have my guest Steven here with me, and you say you prefer Steven, right, or not Steve?
Yeah, Steven.
Okay, cool.
Definitely Steven.
Yeah, I think in my mind I've been calling you Steve the whole
That's
time,
fine too. Yeah.
but no, I'm gonna call you what you prefer. So, Steven, can you tell my listeners and viewers
Mhm.
where you're from?
I'm from the Bronx, New York. Do you want me to like embellish a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, and your family
Yeah.
background. We got the people got
Okay.
to start to get to know you a little
Cool.
bit.
Cool. Yeah, I'm from the Bronx, New York. My mother and father are both from Jamaica. My mother is Chinese Jamaican, so she's like about half Chinese, half black. And then my dad is just like mixed up with a bunch of stuff, but that
Yeah.
side never really dove into like what they're mixed with.
Oh,
Um,
so that's
yeah.
that's like interesting too. So then, I mean, like we were saying before recording, I'm assuming too, grew up probably with a lot of different things in your household, with your mom being Chinese and also black, right?
Yeah, yeah. So since she's half and she's like second generation half, so she's second generation half like Jamaican. So it's like really it's like people who grew up like Asian people who grew up here, they're not like the most Asian they could be. There's like an
Gotcha.
Americanized version of it. That's the same thing with my family. Um, but they still have like a ton of Chinese customs and stuff that they do and like the food and all that. So uh they do that, and then I think growing up, I thought I looked more Asian than I actually do. But like looking at me, like you wouldn't be able to tell how Asian I am.
Yeah,
Um,
was that like it as a child? Were some of the features more apparent then?
no, people used to think I was like South South Asian, like Indian or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I used to get that more when I was younger, and then when I got older, I got like Hispanic. Um, and yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay.
But like I was telling you before, since I left, is this that's like mostly in New York I get the Hispanic thing. But when I left New York, I think most people just assume I'm black because I don't think a lot of people will run into like Afro Latinos outside
Yeah.
of like the East Coast, maybe.
Yeah, probably
Um,
so.
yeah. So yeah, that's my
So,
background.
one of the reasons, like I enjoy having guests on my show, and I've been having really a lot of friends come on, but I also want to have or intended on having like people that work in the industry as
Hmm.
guests as well. So I know that you are an animator, and can you tell me, did you go to school for animation, or did you pick it up in like an online training program, or did you start off doing stuff by yourself, and how did you get into it?
Yeah. So originally I got into it. Um, I did an interview before, and I didn't mention this part of it. But originally, my mom like she got me into it by like buying a ton of Disney movies. Like almost every Disney movie that would come out, she would buy that on VHS, and then we just like
Nice.
me and my sister would watch it all over and over again. But then more recently, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but my dad he works at the Museum of the Moving Image in
I love
Astoria.
that museum.
Yeah, so he's worked there since I was like 5 or something. So I was like always around animation, and I guess it just like I was just always running around in the museum, just like causing terror.
That's so
Um,
amazing.
so I guess that was just like there. So it never didn't occur to me that animation wasn't a job to do because I always knew that somebody did it from that. Um, so in high school, I went to like a an American Studies high school. So it's like, but I like doing art, and I was never like that studious or
Yeah.
studious at all. So we had to do an assignment, and the teacher wanted us to write an essay about like what we wanted to do when we grew up and like what career or profession we wanted to go into. So then I did the research paper on being an animator at Pixar. Um, so from then, that was like always in the back of my mind, and then I like kind of drifted off from that for a little bit and did like Photoshop stuff and drew a little bit. Um, I also did some music in between all that. But then when it was time to go to college, then I like just went right back to animation. Um, I also did like one random like animation course at Parsons.
Okay.
It was like
This
a
was like
weekend.
before college?
Yeah, this was before college. This was in high school. Like me and a friend of mine, we just did like one course. I think it was like over a month. So like it was we did a walk cycle in Flash. So doing that, like I knew that it was like something fun that I would enjoy doing. So then in college, that's when I applied to Mercy College and like some other colleges. But I didn't really have a portfolio. So I had like Photoshop stuff I'd done. I had some stuff I drew, but I didn't have like a proper portfolio because I didn't really know how to make one.
Right.
So I just showed them like stuff that I did, and I think they just accept everybody. So I got in there, and I did all 4 years there. And after that, I decided to do animation mentor
Okay.
because like a lot of these brick and mortar schools, they teach you like everything. They teach you how to animate, how to model, a little bit how to do story, just like every step in the pipeline, which is good if you don't know exactly what you want to do and you're just like trying to figure it out. But I did all that stuff and I never really got a chance to like animate that much because we were always responsible for every step.
Mhm.
So it's like a time crunch, and then you just get something out. So after that, I went to animation mentor, um,
Can you
and then
explain what animation mentor is for those who may not
yeah,
know and what that
yeah,
experience is like?
mhm. Animation mentor is an online school. You don't get a degree from it; you just get a certificate. But it's when I went, it was 7 courses, and they took you all the way from like a bouncing ball, like the very beginning of animation, all the way through um, like characters acting and emoting and all that fun stuff. Not saying the beginning stuff isn't fun, but um, yeah. So basically, it's 7 courses, um, and you get to train with people who are actually working in the industry, which isn't always the case at brick and mortar schools. Um, I was lucky enough to have some instructors that were they were currently working in the industry, and they always like pushed us to go to industry events and stuff like that. So yeah, and after I animation mentor, I left that after 4 classes, and then went to iAnimate, which is another online animation school. And then I finished there. Um, do I take you through my whole career? Or
I mean, we're gonna get into more too, but
okay,
I'm just personally interested now between the animation and mentor and I animate. Like, what if
yeah.
you can share what made you change and what was the difference in experiences from both of
hmm
those?
So the difference is animation mentor is like the leader, I think, in online schools. Right now, I think it's between them and Anim School. But
Mhm.
when I went, they were like the top one. Um, and they have their own website, and their website is like really well done, and they really are good at building a community. So like when you have your work, you can upload your shot, and then everybody in the school can like just go to your page and then review your shot and just give you notes and stuff. um, so they really try to foster that community, which is really good. But I found for me the way I'm accustomed to learning, or the way I like to learn, um, they were too they were too nice. and then I thought I was doing better than I was.
Oh wow.
And they also use when I was there, they were using grades. So the grades, like you try hard and then you get an A, but that doesn't mean that like the work that you're doing is A worthy.